what to say.
Hi again, Hallie. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. I'm not the kind of person to go back on my word. Well, feel free to make yourself comfortable. It seems like I was the last one to come in. Everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Hallie. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. I mean, they kind of pushed you into joining the club. Oh, come on! Like she deserves any slack. She already told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too! I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or whatever, but if you don't take it seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps their manga collection in the club. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monika and manga. Manga is literature! Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat.
Don't worry, guys! Holly always gives it her best, as long as she's having fun. Sometimes she even helps me with busy work without me asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room.
Sayori, don't treat me like a child. I may not be the most organized person, but you're 10 times worse than me. Your room is so messy that it's distracting. And you almost set your entire house on fire once. I remember it like it was yesterday. Sayori had wanted to make breakfast for her mother on Mother's Day, so she called me over early in the morning to help her out. I decided to make bacon and eggs and let Sayori handle pancakes. Well, she accidentally poured too much cooking oil on the frying pan and it caught fire. I'm not sure that's how that works. We both freaked out because we had no idea what to do. We knew about basic fire safety from what we were taught in grade school, but there's a huge difference between learning and experience. I guess Sayori must have either not remembered or not paid attention to the lesson, because she tried blowing the fire out, which obviously just made it worse. I tried to get water to douse it with, but apparently the faucet was broken at the time. Oh, how convenient. It was like one of those wacky cartoons from the 1960s. Well, how would you know what cartoons from the 1960s are like? Fam. I'm like one of the old people in this community, and I don't know what the cartoons of the 1960s were like. Sayori's parents were woken by the blaring smoke alarms, and they rushed downstairs to find us coughing as smoke filled the room. The entire fire department had to come put the fire out. By the time they arrived, almost half of the house was up in flames. Sayori's parents helped us evacuate safely, and my family covered some of the damage. I assume her parents haven't let her near a stove since then. Still, that's quite dependable. You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous.
How come? You and Holly can become good friends too!
Yeah, that's true. If you ever need anything, Yuri, I'll be there. All you have to do is ask. Okay, thanks.
Oh! Yuri even brought you something today, you know!
Wait, Yuri. You did? Not really.
Don't be shy!
It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Sorry, it sounds like a big deal. It's really not. What do I do?
I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking.
I guess it's up to me to save the situation. Hey, don't worry about it. I wasn't expecting anything in the first place, so any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, it won't make a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright. Here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I read the title aloud. Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front of the cover. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't typically read horror stories. And we could, discuss it. If I skipped ahead by accident. No, Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I guess I could go in the history like what you said. Discuss it if you want it. Did I just smooch her? No, I took the book. Enthusiastically took the book. So much enthusiasm. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monika to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monika are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in her butt. I can't help but notice her intense reading expression. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. Oh god, hang on, excuse me! It looks like no one wants to be bothered today. I slumped down into the nearest desk and listened in on Sayori and Monika's conversation.
We're probably gonna seem really lame compared to all the other clubs, though.
Well, we can't give up. The festival's our chance to show everyone what literature is all about. The problem is that the idea of a literature club sounds too dense and intellectual. But it's not like that at all, you know? We just need a way of showing it to everyone. Something that speaks to their creative minds.
That doesn't solve the problem, though.
What do you mean?
Even if we come up with the most fun thing ever, nobody will come in the first place if it's a literature event.
Sayori, this is a literature club. We can't do something that doesn't involve literature. That just wouldn't make sense.
I know that. I guess what I want to say is that it's more important to figure out how to get people to show up in the first place, you know? And after they come, we can do the thing to speak to their creative minds.
Sayori seems to be taking this really seriously, and it's rare to hear her deliberating like this. That's a good point. In that case, do you think food will do the trick?
Well, what kind?
Well, I guess we could...
Cupcake!
Good thinking. Natsuki would love to do that.
You're right. Natsuki makes the best cupcakes. That works out perfectly.
That wasn't why you suggested it?
Cupcakes speak to my creative tummy.
Dots. Cupcakes it is, then.
I'm hungry.
Anyway, we still need to work out the details of the event itself. I find myself smiling. Even though she could be doing anything else right now, Monika seems really devoted to running this club. Therein lies the reason I admire her. Unlike me, who has trouble sticking to one task, Monika can focus on something and make it really come to life. I can't help but wonder what it would be like to see the world through her eyes. Hello.
Ah!
I opened my eyes to find Monika's face filling my vision, and I nearly fell out of my chair. I love how she was just leaning in there. That was a good use of that pose. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. It's your fault for sleeping. This isn't the napping club. Does our school have a napping club? Have you been staying up late? Now that you're in a club, you're going to have to wake up on time more often, you know. You'll need to get used to it. I know. Thanks for looking out for me, Monika. That's what I do best. And there's a CG. So, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just figuring out what we should do for this school festival. It's important that we attract as many people to the club as we can. Well, Sayori already gave you her idea. Yeah, Natsuki's cupcakes really will help us get people to come. But I'm not sure what we should do for the event itself. Well, maybe we can do something that has to do with poems, since we're all starting to share them with each other. That sounds like a great idea. But there's a big difference between sharing something with your close friends and sharing it with an audience of strangers. Especially when it's something that you've poured your heart into making, like poetry or any other personal project. Don't forget that it looks like, words. Don't forget that it took some convincing just to get Natsuki and Yuri to share their poems today. They would probably freeze up if we just threw them in front of everyone and made them read their poems. Yeah, I guess. It was just a thought. I know, and I appreciate your help. Maybe once we've shared poems with each other, it could be a good idea to share them with others. Thanks for your suggestion, Hallie. You're welcome. Oh, we should get to sharing our poems. If we don't do it now, we won't have time for it later. Okay, everyone. Why don't we share the poems we wrote now? Everyone looks up from what they are doing. Past tense, now they were doing. Yuri closes her book and places it into her bag. Natsuki places something back in the closet. Sayori finishes what looks like a mini cake she got from the vending machine. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah. My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before, aside from homework and class assignments. Well, now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with?
I can't wait!
Sayori and Monika enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monika wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monika's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Didn't really need that comma either. Yeah. Who should I show my poems to first? Yep, Monika's are out. Might as well show it to Monika. I should start with Monika. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem, and I want her to know I'm putting in effort. Hi, Hallie. Having a good time so far? Yeah, I am. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring these things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Hallie. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know. But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monika my poem. Wow, you did a great job with this one, Hallie. Really? It's really abstract. You know, I typically write this way, too. I didn't expect you to go down this path with your writing. I guess I underestimated you. Well, it's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. In any case, I'm sure I'm nowhere near your level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. Or you could always stick with the style you're already going for. Either way, you should write however you want to. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kinds of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? But don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Let's see. It's Hole and Mole. I don't know if these poems are any different than vanilla. Click outside poem area to continue, but Monika's overlapping it a little. Probably just a little oversight. I think. Hole and Mole. It couldn't have been me. See the direction this spackle protrudes. I know he's a neighbor and now your boyfriend. I'll never know. I wasn't home. If you're inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind, like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retina's already scorched. Crap. Where'd it go? Alright, I already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. This is the little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. But he wasn't there. He wasn't looking in from the other side. Oh, see? That line was different. Because, like, I guess she can't really see the player anymore. So what do you think? It's very freeform, is that what, if that's what you call it? Sorry, I'm not really the best person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that, because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dirt puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Alright then. We'll go to Yuri next, because Yuri is my favorite, in case you didn't know. Yuri stares at the poem. A minute passes more than enough time for her to finish reading. Yuri? Thoughts? Oh, sorry. I forgot to start speaking. It's fine, take your time. I just need to put my thoughts into words. Hold on. Okay. This is your first time writing a poem, right? Yeah. One that I've written of my own accord, anyway. Why do you ask? I'm just making sure. I guess that it might be after reading through it. Is it that bad? No! Did I just raise my voice? I'm sorry. Yuri buries her face in her hands. It's okay, Yuri. It's been several minutes and we really haven't gotten anywhere. It might take might take you a while to get used to being in the club. It's fine. So what were you saying? Right, it's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers, and having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I've recognized in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in this club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased, though. How so? Well, never mind. I really shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? The coast under the lake. Turns on my hair, the make anything might go out. Bathing. Must be this one. The last remaining street light left, but still lots of time. And the last day to be replaced by the sickening blue green hue of the future. I bathe the calm, breathing air of the present, relieving the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Vanilla poem. I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. Eh? Yuri, you practically wrote this in perfect cursive. It's amazing. But it took you a long time to read. No, it didn't. I wrote it very big. I just don't read script very often. Oh, okay. Also, I liked the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems than this. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. This is just a guess, but is this poem about relics of the past withstanding the test of time? Like how record players have just recently become popular again? Even though modern technology has given us forms of media that function better, such as CDs and digital music downloads, shouldn't that be a question mark? I think that would be a question mark there. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. That's not what I had in mind while writing this, but I can see how you thought that. I guess that could be what it's about, if you look at it from a similar perspective. Simpler perspective is what that said, Eli. Really? I must have missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it, after all. I thought you said it took me a long time to read. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They often do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is being symbolically compared to a ghost. Lingering at her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. Well, it makes me happy that you think that. Just remember that it won't be long before you pick up on these things too. Yeah, maybe you're right. I guess I'll just have to keep trying. I'm gonna take a little drink before I fix the Yuri. Oh god, visual novels are so much more speaking heavy than RPGs maker games.
Dots! This is a good poem, Hallie! Are you sure it's your first time?
Of course. It's not that good. So I look like the kind of person that would be writing poems in their spare time.
I guess you're right. But that's why it impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid that you wouldn't do it seriously. Or that you wouldn't write one at all. I'm really happy just that you wrote one. It just reminds me of how you're really a part of the club now.
I'm not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise.
See? It's like I said before, Hallie. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying to do things like this for other people, that's something that only really good people do.
Sure.
Yeah! And I'm gonna make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That will be my way of thanking you.
Alright, I'm going to hold you to that then.
Yay! Now you'll read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this.
We'll see about that. Dear Sunshine,
the way you look at my voice, Lord, makes me feel like you miss me. Kissing my forehead down behind the bed Make me rub the slinky from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not bad. I want breakfast. Put in the poem.
Sayori, did you wait until this morning to write this?
No! It's just a little bit.
You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question.
I forgot to do it last night.
Well, at least that makes me feel a little better about myself.
Don't be mean. I still tried my best.
I know. I didn't mean to say that it was a bad poem. It came out nice. Or, how should I put it? It sounds just like you.
Really?
Yeah, especially because I read it in the voice you gave you. Especially that last line.
I made exit test.
Even though you were late to school?
It's bad to skip breakfast. I get all cranky.
Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me.
This was so much fun. Monika's the best.
Yeah. That was right. Hold on. We're gonna read that line that tried to get away. Oh, I can't read it because they bumped it out of the history. Oh, you stinkers. You stinkers. I'm gonna go back in my recording and see what that said later. You guys will just have to be quick on the pause button.
But next time I won't forget. And I'm gonna write the best poem ever.
I look forward to it. Natsuki. Hallie, if you're not going to take this club seriously, then go home. Harsh. What, you expect me to believe you actually put effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid? Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. Well, we all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it. Painful to think about, huh? I added a huh. Fine, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I'd tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Fair enough. To each their own, I guess. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you, you'll probably think it's stupid. So I guess Natsuki doesn't like a lot of Monika words, huh? He calls Gunfly. Like he's Gunfly. Good gets good late. Words a camera. Cells get deep. Choose get wrong. Use get fly. People get turned by this minute. Hello, boom. Yeah. I told you weren't gonna like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because! Everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly! I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. I see. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, I guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her.